Welcome. Christopher Yaks here. Thank you for joining us in our Yoga Entrepreneur Secrets Facebook group. And today I'm super excited. This is something that John and I have been nerding out on for probably close to 5 years. And so, little backstory, earlier this year in March, we joined a mastermind group called Offer Lab. And in that, the whole intent of this organization, of this mastermind, was to help people, business owners, entrepreneurs understand the core of what marketing is, which is a sales message, an offer, and then a campaign. And so we've just been brain dumped and are understanding this whole new thing. And so this year, what we've been doing is implementing in our business, but Hot House Yoga, and actually not just Hot House Yoga, but Yaks Yoga Concepts, little tweaks here and there to just simply the message that we're sending out to people and the offer. And what I really want to focus on today is, and this is what's so interesting to me, is that in the yoga community itself, let me pause just for a second. Everyone who's on live, if there's anyone on live right now, just make sure if you hear this, that you can actually hear me. We're trying some new audio mic technology, and so we want to make sure that everyone can hear us and that you're good to go. Where was I? No one's on there, right? We're good. It's all right. Yoga community. So there's a... I think it's a blind spot. I think, you have a bunch of wonderful, heart-centered, passionate artists who believe wholeheartedly in what they do, and they know the power of it, and they know what it's done for their lives. But and this is where John and I were when we started, we thought that was enough, that being really good and really talented at something was going to be enough to bring people through the doors and to continue that flow of new people and for people to sign up to memberships. And what we realized is that it's not the case. There's wonderfully talented people in this world, not just in the yoga community, but in any other entrepreneurial field, who aren't doing well, and they are the most talented. And conversely, there are people who maybe aren't the most talented people in the world, but are doing crazy good, meaning they're making lots of money and they're impacting people's lives. And you're wait a second, what's the difference? And the difference is what the mastermind group that we're a part of helps us teach, is it's the marketing. And not meaning Facebook ads, not all the the Google campaigns and the logos and the branding and all that stuff, but the specific message that you're sending, the offer, making it irresistible, and then how you bring it out into the world. And so that's what those people who may not be as talented are doing really, really well. So back to the yoga industry, I think there is a fundamental blind spot with people either not leveling up their game in the business end of it, the marketing understanding of it, or just a fundamental blind spot. And we had it for years. And so today we're talking about yoga offer creation. Yoga offer creation. I'm super excited about it. And the first concept I want to talk about is that money follows value. Money follows value. And so the question then becomes, if money does follow value, and what we're saying is that people have problems. If you look at it in the yoga world, the three main problems that people are coming to yoga to fix are stress, are pain, low back pain very specifically, inflexibility, and there's a fourth one that's just general. They want to do a general alternative fitness. And so the problems are man, I'm stressed out. And so they're coming to yoga to fix that problem. Or they have back pain, and they're coming to yoga to have for yoga to fix that back pain, or they feel super tight, and usually the tightness is what's creating the pain. So they're coming to get more flexible to be out of pain. And so what we're saying with money follows value is that the problem that they have is a valuable problem. And if you can solve that problem for them, and it's valuable enough to them, and you're articulating and presenting it in a way that's valuable to them, then they will pay you money for the solution that you have. So the question then becomes is, how do you increase value, right? So they have the problem, and it's to them the perception of this is valuable in as much as it's debilitating and it's inhibiting what I'm doing in my life. It's creating this film in between relationships if it's stress. I feel my body breaking down if it's pain. Like, so the degree to which they're suffering over this problem creates the value in their minds. What we need to do as yoga entrepreneurs is understand how to frame for them the value of the solution that we're presenting to them. And so one way of doing it, and this is the way that yoga's done it forever and ever, and it's crazy to me. I think I don't know, like when we opened up Hot House Yoga back in 2005, we didn't look at other yoga studios to see, well, what is the price points that they're using? Because we didn't, we cared, but we didn't care. We looked, so let me, more specifically, we looked, but we didn't model it after them because we weren't sure if they were successful or not. And I think what happens is people that are opening up a studio and looking into the industry, they're modeling what what the industry and the people around them, their competition is doing, and then they're just basically saying, well, if they're charging $150 for a 10 card, I'll charge $140. And if their membership is $99 a month, I'll do $79 a month. And what happens is, what they know intrinsically they understand is they're trying to increase the value for the people they want to attract, but the way they're doing it is by decreasing the price. It's the old way of doing it. And you can see studios just competing on price, and it's a race to the bottom. There's a commoditization of our services because everyone is just cheapening by lowering the price, which is one way of increasing the value, but what ends up happening is you end up not being able to make enough money to keep the doors open, to pay the teachers, the wonderful teachers that are there teaching at your studio. So the other way of doing it, and this is what we've been doing in the last year, we've been learning about it, but really implementing it and understanding it on a much deeper level the past year, and it's increased. We've been open for 15 plus years. We're grossing over $1 million a year, right? We have the margins aren't awesome in the online world, but it's still phenomenal. And over that time this year, we're projected to increase by 20% our revenue. That is not an easy feat to do with a mature studio already doing really well to increase that. But it's so funny that it's just a few tweaks, and that's what we wanted to show you today. So the second way is make a better offer. Right? Understand if money follows value and you have this offer that is solving a problem for somebody, how do you make that offer even better so that they're like, man, I want to go there. And what happens when you make a better offer is that you don't have to then compete on price by decreasing it. You can actually increase the price, charge a premium, and people will they'll appreciate it because here's the thing. When people pay, they pay attention. If they pay more money for something, they pay more attention. They value it more. Perceptually, right? The commoditization of decreasing price over and over again, it totally kills the perception of the value that they're going to receive within yoga, within the studio, regardless of what it is. So how do you make a better offer? That's really the core teaching today. You make a better offer in 3 ways. So this is not our information that we came up with personally. This is information that we learned from the mastermind that we've been in, that we've implemented, that has given us crazy success. Again, the mastermind, the developer, the man is Stephen Larson, so I give him credit because that's where credit is due. So 3 simple strategies to add massive value to your offers. And look, it's not when you see it, you're gonna be like, that seems super simple. But it's the simplest stuff tends to be the most potent stuff. So your core product is the main thing you want to sell somebody, right? The main thing, whatever it is. So if it's a membership to your yoga studio, or if it's a class package that you're putting and you want to emphasize that this month as a promotion, or whatever it is, or you're doing a teacher training, or so there's a core product that you want to sell, which is solving a very specific problem for a person. Right? So that's the frame that we're saying, because what I want to go into is you're always going to have that core product because that's the main thing you want to sell. Now, the first way you add crazy value perceptually so that someone will then be willing to pay more for that core product is come up with an awesome sales message. Right? The sales message is very specifically the story, whether it's yours or someone else's, of someone already succeeding and having gone through the same issues they're going through now, having used the product that you're trying to get them to buy, and then they're on the other side of it and they're experiencing the result of using this core product. there was it was so interesting. So I was listening to NPR the other day, and they were talking about foraging. Foraging is like, you're just like walking around in like a forest or on the beach and finding edible food just lying around in nature. Not food that someone's like thrown out. Like you're not eating a half-eaten sandwich. It's like seaweed and mushrooms and things. Like, so there's like a legit like group of people who are foragers who go out and they collect food. Now, there's a restaurant, I believe it was in France. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was in France. Their whole niche is selling foraged food. Meaning they have people go out, they buy the foraged food from the people, they prepare it, and then people come into their restaurant and they purchase foraged food. What she said in the interview blew my mind, but it correlated with everything that we've been learning. And that is, she said, you know, a lot of the food, like we prepare it, but it doesn't taste awesome. And the interviewer was like, whoa, excuse me, it doesn't taste awesome? But you're a restaurant. People come in because they want awesome tasting food. And she's like, no, you know what sells the food is the story. It's the story of how it was brought about and brought to their table, of who went out and where they went and saw it and what they had to go through to get it and how it became a dish that they get to now enjoy. The sales message, the story behind the product that they were getting increased the value so they could charge a premium even for food that didn't taste as good. Now, so you may ask like, well, like, okay, I'm a yoga entrepreneur. I'm like teaching classes. I'm going into a retreat. I'm doing teacher trainings, whatever that is. That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, then look at it in the terms of like, okay, if you are just trying to get people into your doors as a yoga studio, like how do you create what is the story that people who you want to come into could listen to that would connect to them and relate to their own story, so that would compel them to say, whoa, what they're doing, that's on a whole nother level. I'm willing to pay a premium to go there versus a discount to go there because I already know that what they're doing connects with me and it's going to solve the problem that I have. And the way you do that is through social proof, testimonials, right? Adding people, like asking your people who are coming in, like what were you dealing with beforehand? And like tell me now, like what was it that like really triggered the transformation for you, and how does it feel now to be on the other side? And like you just get these testimonials so that you can tell stories wrapped around the core product that articulates the path that someone has already gone through, because you're attracting these people who are having that similar problem and they see someone who has gone before them and has experienced the result that they're looking for. It increases the value simply by telling a better story around it. That's one. Number two is, this one has been like so good. It's so good, but it takes a little time for you to like sit down and think about it and like interview people if that's where you're gonna go, get some market data. And that is, so I kind of talked about it. When someone comes in to buy anything, right, they are buying it to solve a problem. What happens when someone solves that first problem? So they say, yes, I'm in. That was an awesome story. I feel connected. I'm coming in and I bought the introductory special that you have. There's another problem that just came up. If it's yoga, now like what do I need water maybe, or I don't have a mat, but I need a mat. Like I don't know what clothes to wear. I don't know is there any like dietary things I need to know about? Do I need to like eat something specific? So solving a problem creates other problems, which is awesome for us because then we get to think about it and be like, all right, if someone comes in to practice yoga, what's the next problem for them? Now, you may not think of it, it's not a problem, but it is. It's an issue that they now have to figure out. How am I gonna like practice? Now, it's hot yoga, if that's what you teach. Like, do I need a towel? Do I need to bring my own towel? Oh, no, don't worry about it. So what you do to add value, crazy value, this is like so good, is whatever the core product is, come up with what the follow-up problems are going to be and start stacking the solutions to those problems in the offer. So you're like, oh, guess what? You get this introductory special and it's, you know, whatever the price is for however the duration is, right? It's $99 for a month, or it's like $100 for 2 weeks, whatever it is. But guess what? You also get unlimited mat rentals, or you know what? We're actually going to give you a mat. Like the value of it is $30, but we're going to give it to you for free, no extra charge. And oh, by the way, during that period of time, you're also going to get towel service, and you're going to get a shower towel, and you're going to get a mat towel. So don't worry about that at all. And oh, and by the way, you also get this water bottle because you need to be hydrated, and it's going to has this value. So now, guess what? I know you were thinking when you come in, you're going to have this problem, this problem, this problem. I've already thought about it for you. Don't worry. You're going to come in and do the 2-week unlimited, but then you're going to get the mat rentals. You're going to get the water bottle. You're going to get all these other things, and all of a sudden you're just like, the person looks at that. You can charge more for that same core product, adding these follow-up problem products, and all of a sudden you've created an offer that people will pay a premium for. Now, third one, I don't want this to be too long of a training, but this is so good. Third strategy is you have the core product, but you add a guarantee. There's a human psychology that people go through when they're purchasing something. The first thing is they look at it like, man, is this gonna work? Does that thing work? Generally, does yoga work? And all of a sudden you have a solution of, a social proof of someone saying, yeah, it worked. And then they're like, well, okay, it worked for that person, but can I do yoga? Is it possible for me? And then that same social proof's like, oh yeah, that person did it. Oh, and they weren't like the quintessential yogi, right? They didn't look like, flexi, bendy, gumby person. They looked kind of like me. And oh, then that person did, then okay, I think I can do it. And then it's like, well, it's a lot of money. And I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I'm gonna get support from my significant others. I don't know if I have enough time. And if they jump through, once they get to that third hurdle, this is how people process every sale they make, is does it work? Does it work? Can I do it? And then how are people gonna perceive me, and do I have enough money and time to do it? Once they get through that, the last thing is man, I'm gonna give this person money, but what if something happens? What if I don't like it? What if I don't get the result? So all of that, there's still this lingering little objection. What a guarantee does is says, you know what, don't worry about it. If you're for whatever, and you can structure these things however you like. So don't take exactly what I'm about to say and say, that's the guarantee that I learned from this training and I'm gonna do it. You have to make it right for you and get very specific and get very detailed about what the guarantee actually means. But it's essentially it's reversing the risk that they feel of being taken or losing some the money and not getting what they actually paid for. And so a guarantee, what it does is right at the end, you've gotten this awesome sales message and yes, I feel it, I know this is what I need, and you have all these stacks man, they thought of everything. That is a crazy, irresistible offer. I'm so ready. But there's I just don't know. The guarantee is what pushes them over if they're on the fence, pushes them on the other side of the fence and says, okay, listen, don't worry about it. And for whatever reason, by the end of this introductory special, if you feel that you didn't get what you're looking for, and you may need to go more specific than that, if you don't feel younger, if you don't feel more flexible, if you don't feel like you've gotten whatever the promise was, then we will give you your money back. You can even double down and say, not only will we give you money back, but we'll give you 10% extra. There's a great case study of this. There's a man named Tim Ferriss, and he was selling, it was a supplements, and it was specifically, I think it was called Brain Ignite or something like that. Brain Quicken. And he was he had pretty good success. And all of a sudden he did it's called a lose-win guarantee, where he said, I forget the exact numbers, he said, listen, if you take this and after 7 or 60 days, you don't feel a difference, I will not only give you your money back, but I'll give you 50% more. So I'm actually gonna give you money to try it. Everyone's fear when they hear that is man, people are just gonna take me and I'm gonna lose money, my business is gonna go out. And the real reality of it is, especially if you're delivering really well and the product that you're selling, like yoga, if you're doing it really well and you're getting people the result, what this does is it just gets people who are a little I don't know, it gets them to say yes. And then if you're delivering what you promised really well, what you've just done is given them the opportunity to actually solve the problem they have. And very few, there's been case studies upon case studies upon case studies where there's some people that just try to fleece the system, and they're gonna try to do it just to get it, and then they're gonna I didn't feel anything, I want my money back. But then they're not your person anyway, right? They're not gonna be a part of your tribe anyway. And so adding a guarantee to your offers is so important because it pushes people over the fence to say yes. Especially, and this is something, if there's fear around it, because there was a lot for us in the beginning, just remember what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you've delivered. Like for us, we've been open for 15 years. We've got testimonials upon testimonials about how what we do in the room and the yoga that we teach has just utterly transformed people's lives. So I can say, listen, I know wholeheartedly this is the right thing for you and this is going to be the best thing for your life. In fact, I'm so confident in it that I guarantee the success of it. And all of a sudden, you've now created where most people are just like, hey, I have this intro special that's like $5 for 2 months. Like, okay, that's one way of doing it, but then people don't value it and they don't come in. Or you can say, you know what, I've got this awesome message for you because I know what you've gone through and I actually was there too. And if it's your own story, it's even better. But if it's someone else's story, man, and check out what so-and-so went through. And if you're feeling this and like you just go through this process, the system that we created, this is how they experienced it. And so the same potential is for you. And then you add all these follow-up problem products to that core offer. And you say, you know what, and I'm so confident in it that I'm going to give you this guarantee. It will totally transform. For us, like 20% is hundreds of thousands of dollars for us that we have increased just using these simple strategies with the offers that we're creating and the people that we're helping. And this is the other thing, like, so this is very money oriented, right? It's very like structure and package, it's very tactical. But remember, people are hurting, they have a problem, they need yoga, right? And what we know is that when people pay more for something, they pay more attention, they're more vested, they will like jump over hurdles more, they will go through the difficulty, the struggle, the strain of getting to class because they've invested their money on the front end and now they want the transformation that they've invested. They are more invested. In fact, doing this, you will give them more results and they will stick with you longer. It is an utter transformation for us and what we've experienced within the yoga studio. So that's it. 3 simple strategies to add massive value to your offers. It's sales message, it's the follow-up problem products, and it's the guarantee. Add those to your offers, and I guarantee that you will see a huge difference in your sales and the people that you're attracting, and if you're doing this as a yoga studio, in your memberships, undoubtedly. All right, so that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Listen, if you are watching this as a replay, do hashtag replay. If you have any questions, I know I was kind of firing through this, please ask questions about it. If you're like, man, that was awesome, and I have friends who are yoga entrepreneurs who own yoga studios, and they should hear this information, invite them to the group. Like, we want to get more people in here and more yoga entrepreneurs in here to help, like, whatever we can to like spread the message of yoga and like get more people involved and get these studios thriving so they can sustain themselves so they can make a bigger impact in people's lives. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Hashtag replay if you're watching this as replay. Appreciate everybody. Peace.
Yes! Thanks so much for listening to Yoga Entrepreneur Secrets. Do you have a question that you'd like us to answer raw and uncut on the podcast?
If you want your questions answered, all you need to do is head over to Apple Podcasts and do 3 simple things.
1, rate and review, telling us what you think of the podcast. 2, in that review, ask anything you want related to yoga. And 3, if you want a shout out, leave your Instagram handle or name. And that's it.
Then listen in to hear your question answered live, raw, and uncut.
Join us next time on Yoga Entrepreneur Secrets Podcast.
Thanks.